elements, Tora. Like them elements.
You just get into your own little space.
You got scavenge in there.
And lose it.
We'll have to put some shea butter on that.
Lose it. Lose it. We're gonna start here with the kick and the bass. You like the bass?
You like the kid.
Are you with me? Here we go. Close your eyes.
Okay, so I've had lots of cool experiences. Yesterday, well, this was kind of a quick one yesterday. Like basically, I was driving with Hannah in the car on an overpass, you know, like concrete overpass, and you know, in the scenario, you know, the mindset was, you know, I was, you know, I drove that path many times on that road, that overpass or highway, whatever it's called. And then all of a sudden, it was so weird. Then all of a sudden, there was a big, like, 4 foot gap in between, you know, in between like the other side of the, I mean, it's like it had broken too. The highway, the overpass had broken too. And so me and Hannah was driving along. It was just my one cat, Hannah. We were driving along on this concrete overpass. And then, boom, I had to stop because I saw the big gap. And I was like, wow, I don't remember seeing that before, you know. And so then I stopped because I was afraid I was going to go over the edge. And so then I got out of the car, and it's like, whoa. And Hannah already jumped. She like jumped over the edge. And so I had to stop like right there because I knew, you know, I was going to drive over the edge. And I looked down, and it was like, it was pretty damn far, several stories. And Hannah already jumped down. And then I got out of my car and somehow went down there to get her, and I held her in my hands and everything, and she was fine. But that was kind of weird. And that was one weird experience I had. And then like the morning before that, maybe it was yesterday morning. I think I had both of those yesterday morning. The other one I had, I was just roaming around at this person's house. Some of the people I knew were cousins and stuff like that, and we were just doing normal things, eating and talking. There were couches everywhere and shit. And then, well, it kind of got late again, and so that was kind of fun. Yeah, so that was like yesterday morning. But this morning, I had a funny experience too. So I was, it started, I was just like kind of up there at a few cash registers at Walmart. And okay, wait, let me think. I had my wallet in my hand, you know, that normal wallet that I always carry. And then, and the woman was, or one of the cashiers was like, well, go ahead and come over here. I can check you out here. So I went over there, and I bought my stuff, and then I had walked back, you know, into the store, and for whatever reason, I had laid my wallet down on like a table or a display or whatever, and it was just sitting there. You know, that normal, this was all virtual reality. normal wallet that I carry. So it was laying there on the table, and then I realized, no, I know what the deal was. I had laid it there, like before she called me over there, to the cash registers. And then I went over to the cash registers, and but it still seemed like I had stuff in my hands and stuff. And that's when I realized I didn't have my wallet. But I was sitting there, so that part kind of didn't make sense because I was still sitting there acting like I was gonna, buy the stuff. And then I realized, I turned back around and went back into the store, and then I realized, back where all the merchandise and stuff is, and the aisles, or the big aisle, and then my wallet was just just sitting there. And I was like, well, great, somebody found it and they just set it there. And I thought that was awfully nice, for somebody to find my wallet and set it there. And there was a few things sitting around it, but not very much stuff. I mean, it was just like bam, right there, on the table with not very much stuff. Other stuff for sale, not very much stuff. And what are you guys looking at me? What are you doing, Truman? What are you doing? Okay, and then so then I just was like, wow, because I knew I had lost it, and I knew I'd probably never see it again. And somebody, found it, I guess because I set it somewhere in the store, and they found it, and they put it right there. And then I went over there to pick it up, and I picked it up in my hands and everything. And I looked inside my wallet, and in the exact same spot, in the scenario, the exact same spot, my credit card was gone. The credit card that I always use, I never use my debit card. The credit card was gone. And then I looked in the other compartment, the exact, compartment, because I was looking for my debit card, and my debit card was gone. I mean, those are the only two important things that I have in my wallet. Credit card and then the debit card, but I never use my debit card. And then, so then I was like, so I went outside the store, I got into my car, I literally got into my car, and I started driving down the parking lot, and then I got onto a road, and I kept, and in the scenario, I literally was driving. And then I kept thinking, okay, I gotta hurry up and get home so I can call the credit card company. And then all of a sudden, I thought to myself, wait a minute, I have my cell phone, so I'll just call right now. And I repeated the number over to myself in the car, 1-800-432-1000. Even in the scenario, I did that because in real life, I have that Bank of America phone number memorized. And so even in the scenario, I had it memorized and everything in the scenario. So I repeated it back to myself, like 1-800-432-1000. And I thought, okay, cool. So I knew I had a chance of, going ahead and canceling my credit card and everything. Because I didn't have to wait till I got home because I had my cell phone with me. But yeah, so that part was kind of freaky. They haven't done that in a while. I don't know if it was Joel who gave me this experience, probably. He hasn't done that in a while. Gave me a billfold attack scenario, so to speak. Yeah, because he's done that many times where I've lost my wallet, blah 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 blah. And there was even one scenario where I was walking around this shopping center and I kept finding all these wallets, and I didn't want to turn them in, and so I kept keeping them. And then I was trying to hide from people because I wanted to see what was in the wallets and stuff. I was trying to hide under clothes racks and shit. That was a long time ago. But he hasn't given me a attack of my billfold in a long time. But that was freaky. I mean, it was virtual reality. I mean, I looked down and the credit card, was in the exact same spot that I always have it, but it was gone. And then I looked for my debit card, and that was in the exact same spot, and it was gone. So, and I knew it was like I had in my head, like visions or whatever, I knew it was a guy that stole both of them. And then he just placed my billfold back down on the table after he stole both of those cards. But that was pretty freaky. Okay, but then I had this other 4-scene scenario. This was that long ago? Shit. December 2nd. This was December 2nd? I can't believe it was that long ago. Okay, yeah, so this was a 4-scene scenario. Part of this was sort of virtual reality where I kept getting up out of bed since I knew a man who I work with at work, or who I work with temporarily at work, was dabbling around everywhere in my house like 3 a.m. in the morning. He was walking around the living room, and in the scenario, my house was like much bigger. He was walking around at like 3 a.m. in the morning. I sort of knew I was under virtual reality. I was in my house, all perturbed, trying to sleep, etc., because this man, who is the man that keeps, coming to my work building in real life to oversee the contractors, was in my house, diddling, dabbling around, fixing stuff, etc., cleaning. He was just walking around my house, fixing stuff, cleaning stuff, examining stuff, and telling me what was wrong with my house. Because basically that's what he does at work, or temporarily he did that at work in real life, going around and overseeing what the contractors are doing and crap, and if they're doing stuff wrong or whatever. So basically he was doing that in my house and telling me what was wrong in my house. In real life, this is the man who is at my work all the time, well, at least till all the work gets done. He watches the contractors. My office is being renovated and space reduced in real life. Well, it's already done now, but they're doing more work now, and that guy is still, there, overseeing the workers. And so basically that was all, this whole scene was about. Okay, so this went on for a long time, dabbling around in my house, and me trying to go to bed, or trying to, be in bed, sleeping. At one point, but like I say, I eventually got up out of bed. So I went for a long time, I walked for a long time, like dabbling around my house, and, so this went on for a long time, dabbling around my house, and me trying to go to bed and get some sleep. At one point, I walked out into my garage to see if he was fiddling around out there, and he was. I saw him walking around my garage, and in the scenario, my garage was like 4 times bigger. And much messier. It was much messier too. At one point I was looking in the closet that was in the middle of my living room, and I never realized, this was so weird, I never realized there was a heater, air conditioner in there as well, like the exact same thing that's in my garage closet, except a lot shorter. Then I had another one of those in the other bedroom. It's like I had one of those in every single bedroom. I was like, why the heck have I not noticed this before? I was thinking and asking myself, why do I need 3 heater/AC units? Like, why do I need 3 of those? It runs the heat and the air conditioner or whatever. I don't know what it's called officially, but it's the thing, out there in the garage or whatever. Okay, anyway, so I leaned down and pulled out the air filter in the unit in the closet in the living room. It was just in a small little closet right here between this living room and that 3rd bedroom. That is where the little closet was. And in real life, I don't have a closet right there. I leaned down and pulled out the air filter in the unit in the closet in the living room. And it needed to be replaced. It had when I looked down, it had tons of dark grayish dust wads on it, on the lower part as I looked down at it. The man, the overseer, said he just replaced it, and I couldn't understand why it was dirty again. I even told him that it shouldn't have gotten this dirty. Like I said, this went on for a long time, and all of this was in my house. Okay, so that was the first scene. The second scene, it gets better. The second scene, the last scene wasn't so good, but the second scene, the tornado scene. I was visiting, and like I say, all of these were kind of part of the same scenario, except it was just 4 different scenes. The second scene is the tornado scene. I was visiting my mom at her house in her family room, it was me, my mom, my brother, sister-in-law, and like 2 to 3 other female relatives. They were all sitting there on the couch, laughing, giggling, and totally oblivious to the storm that was going on outside. Like, we were all in the family room, and I was just standing around, you know, like nervous and stuff. I was not sitting. All the other people were sitting on couches and stuff. So then I started to hear the storm. Like, this was totally virtual reality. The noise was very clear and very real. The tornado was on the ground, but it did not sound like a train, like the one I heard in real life back in 2002. Yeah, in this scenario, I knew, when I started hearing that noise, I knew that the tornado was on the ground. And it just sounded like, in the scenario, but I could not see it. Okay, the noise was very clear. The tornado was on the ground, but it did not sound like a train like the one I heard in real life back in 2002, under the scenario. Now, I could not see the tornado. I did not see the tornado in the scenario until a little bit later. I could not see it. So the sound sounded like just a bunch of rain belting down on the trees, wrestling back and forth, real loud, hitting each other, being demolished, basically. It sounded like a bunch of rain belting down with trees, wrestling back and forth, real loud, hitting each other, you know, being demolished, basically, like a bunch of twigs and sticks and trees being demolished and rain, you know, belting down. But it was loud, and I could totally hear it through the locked windows and door. And like I said, my family was oblivious. So eventually, I looked out the window, and by the way, this was at nighttime outside. I mean, it was nighttime outside. When I saw the huge limbs and trees already down in my... Okay, hold on. Yeah, so eventually I looked out the window, the family room window, and like I say, it was nighttime outside. What I saw was huge limbs and trees already down in my parents' driveway, like every single tree. There was a 10 feet high, huge pile of trees and sticks and limbs right in front of the family room window, out in the grassy area at this point, like, you know, 10 yards away of the family room window was this big old pile of debris. So eventually I looked out the window. Okay, hold on. Limbs and trees. There was a 10-foot high, huge pile of trees and sticks and limbs right in front of the family room window and out in the grassy area at this point. The tree debris was 10 feet high in a pile. Then I looked out the window again, and I saw a normal-sized reddish pink house, a complete full house, just floating up in the sky, about 1,000 feet in the sky. The tornado picked it up, and basically the house was just stuck in the tornado at this point. I mean, it literally was just swaying back and forth. It was not damaged at all. It was spinning around slightly, swaying back and forth, but it was completely intact. Now that part was cool. And I know Joe got that from Wizard of Oz, because I told him to give me like a Wizard of Oz scenario. So I guess that's why he put that in here, with the house floating 1,000 feet in the sky. It was so freaking cool. And like I say, it was a reddish pink house. Then finally, I screamed at my family and said, we need to get down in the basement right now. I did not wait on them. I knew instinctually that the tornado was heading straight for our house. Then I ran down in the basement by myself and laid there in the middle of the concrete floor and was worried about my 5 cats that was somewhere in the house. You know, above the you know, that same level, above the basement. You know, where the the family room is. The funny thing is, this was a couple days ago. You know, this scenario was December 2nd. And then we kind of had, in real life, we had some tornadic activity. Well, not really tornadic activity, but some high wind activity. Last Friday, which was December, 8th or something like that. And I felt the wind, you know, like, I could feel the strong wind. I mean, you could hear the strong wind and everything, you know, and it's like, oh my God, it's almost like it just, like, put me back in that scenario. It was so weird. But yeah, it was kind of strong wind, and it toppled a lot of shit over, all the tables that everybody had in their backyards and barbecue pits and trash cans and stuff. It was so weird. Okay, so anyway, I knew instinctually that the tornado was heading straight for our house. Then I ran down the basement by myself and laid there in the middle of the concrete floor and was worried about my 5 cats that was somewhere in the house. I lay down in the middle of the concrete basement floor thinking about my cats, and boom, all of a sudden, Truman appeared and was laying right there with me. I kept thinking, wow, this house isn't real wide, so like just because I am in the middle of the basement, I may not be safe enough, because I could still see the walls, straight ahead of me and to the back of me or whatever. And I also already knew that somehow my other cats would be safe. Even though Truman was the only one that came down there, I knew my other cats would be safe. All of a sudden, a mom and 1 to 2 of her daughters appeared there with me for safety, laying crouched down with me. Then I started staring at the west concrete wall for many minutes, just waiting for the walls and house to just come crashing down, as I could still hear the power of the tornado and the storm. Because I still heard the tornadic activity even when I was down in the basement. But that never did happen. And since I was in the basement, that part really didn't make sense. Because the basement wall is underground. But I was just in the scenario, I really thought it was going to come crashing down and shit, and it never did. Nobody else came down there for safety. It was that strange mom and the daughters and Truman. Just me and my mom. Just me and the mom and 2 daughters that came a bit later. And of course Truman. It was just us down there. My mom and my sister and my brother, they never did go down there. The funny thing is, Joel got the floating house idea out of Wizard of Oz. I think I already said that. He must have answered my call since I was asking for Wizard of Oz kind of experience. But I wasn't real specific. I wasn't specific at all. So he created this tornado scene for me. This scene happened after 2:30 a.m. Oh, okay, so this scene happened after 2:30 a.m. after I went to the bathroom. The first scene happened before 2:30 a.m. Oh, did I already say that? Oh, maybe I didn't. But the first scene happened before 2:30 a.m. Okay, so the third scene. This scene happened this scene happened right before around 4:30 a.m. but after the tornado scene. I woke up again at 4:30 a.m. I woke up again. This scene I was back up. I woke up. Oh, I guess I was saying I woke up again at 4:30 a.m. to go to the bathroom, and then I laid down. In this scene I was back at my mom's house after the tornado. But I can't remember if that thought was on my brain in the scene or not. There was a male intruder in my mom's house, and he made his way. Now this scene was kind of scary, and it was pretty scary and intimidating. Okay, so there was a male intruder in my mom's house. He was a total fucking psycho, and yeah, the aliens have a way of making things seem real, real extreme and stuff, but probably from movies and shit that I've seen. Okay, so there was a male intruder in my mom's house, and he made his way down in the basement, which as far as I remember, hold on, he started off in the family room. Okay, so there was a male intruder in my mom's house. As far as I remember, it was the family room, and then he made his way down into the basement, which in this scenario, it was my brother's bedroom, which in real life he used to have his bedroom down there in the basement when we lived at home and stuff. And the other scene, the tornado scene, it was just bare basement, like it is now in real life, just a few stuff stored down there. The intruder had dark brown hair. It was kind of short. He was totally crazy and insane and very violent. It was me, my brother, my mom, and my sister, and at least a few other women that I did not know well that was down in the basement. I somehow know, maybe because Joel was, he made me know 100% for sure that all these 4 scenes was part of the same scenario. I think he did that on purpose because, I don't know, because I made that comment about, like, I think some of all these, you know, lucid dreams were part of the same, like I'll have 3 or 4 different lucid dreams or whatever, and then I'm thinking they're kind of all part of the same one or whatever, which I don't know if that even makes sense, but yeah, Joe made it clear that like all these 4 scenes were just kind of part of the same scenario. Okay, so wait, hold on, where am I at? Okay, the intruder had dark brown hair, short hair. He was totally crazy and insane and violent. It was me, my brother, mom, and sister, and at least a few other women that I did not know well, that was down in the basement. See, it's kind of the same, that was the same theme from that last one I told you about. There was like a woman in there, I mean a woman and some daughters, and you know, this is similar to that last scene that I talked about. So it was me, my brother, mom, and sister, and at least a few other women that I did not know well that was down in the basement. The intruder eventually became very violent with one of the women, and I heard her screaming, and she went off in the back of the basement where I could not see her. When the intruder walked that way and was out of my sight, that is when I hurried and ran up the stairs. It was like he was holding us up in the basement, you know, hostage. But before all of that, I looked around the room and I saw my brother's bed and a bunch of other shit. It was kind of cluttery. And belongings, etc., etc. But what I saw along the north wall was totally crazy. And I was like, this goddamn airbed. This airbed was comfortable. I put the airbed on this daybed. The airbed was comfortable until I put the cushion on top. And now it's not comfortable. It's making it too soft. Okay, so anyway, but what I saw along the north wall was crazy, and I was like, wow, I am not surprised my brother has stuff like that, you know, in his bedroom in the basement. There were at least 4 Halloween type of creatures, human size but fake like rubber blow up creatures like Christmas decorations, except these were 50% alive and 50% fake, and they were like, you know, Halloween creatures. Actually, that is sort of how Joel created all those statues too in that other scenario. They seemed alive but not fully alive. It's like they can kind of come to life, you know? The aliens can kind of make them look like they come to life. These creatures were just resting sort of up against the wall. I cannot remember what the other creature features exactly look like the 3, how many did I say? It was about 4 creatures. I can't remember exactly. Okay, I already wrote all this down. I just don't like to read. Okay, so all the creatures were sort of resting up against the wall. I cannot remember what the other creature features exactly look like, but they were brown and black. I do remember that. The funny thing is, guess what? I totally can remember what one of them looked like that was standing in the middle up against the wall. They weren't really standing but resting up against the wall, if you know what I'm saying, like they've been placed up against the wall. Like they were set up against the wall. He was a light greenish fluorescent Frankenstein. And when I looked at him, his expressions came to life. That is a good way to put it. And the statues who were in that other statue scenario that I talked about. Like when all those statues came down at me, it's like they came to life. It's really weird. I think Joel made him a different color on purpose just so I would totally remember. That's why he made Frankenstein fluorescent green, so I would, you know, remember exactly what he looked like. And he was 100% Frankenstein. He knew I was mad that I couldn't remember what some of the statues looked like, their specific features, you know, after I woke up, because I think I was so concentrating on those pearls, the pearl chandelier. But anyway, I felt creeped out while I was looking at Frankenstein because he kind of gave me a funny, you know, expression. Okay, so the last thing before this is kind of weird. So the last thing before I ran up the stairs while the man was being mean to the strange woman, the aliens didn't really show me that, but he was being very violent. I know that. So the last thing before I ran up the stairs while the man was being violent towards that woman, I was fiddling around with my handgun and I shot at the man many times, but no bullets came out. I literally shot at this dude, but like I say, no bullets came out. My gun kept fouling up. And I was standing there trying to fix it forever. And like I say, I'm back down in the basement. There were these little metal things as big as tiny fuses, like 3 to 4 of them, that kept the 380 bullet in place. They kept falling out onto the floor, and I kept picking them back up, trying to place them back in the gun where the bullets were. And it was not easy. This was very bizarre. Basically, after I ran up the stairs, that was the end of this third scene. But yeah, it was bizarre. I mean, I kept meticulously, picking up those little fuse-looking things because they were like wedged in between the bullet. But that somehow made the bullets work. And if they fell out, that's why the gun wouldn't shoot the bullets. But I shot at that man several times. And like I say, no bullets came out. And like I say, this was all virtual reality, still slightly under lucid dream state, but it was all pretty much virtual reality. Now, the last scene wasn't that great, but the last scene, the fourth scene, this happened after I went back to sleep after 4:30 a.m. I was back at my mom's house, but I was standing near her bedroom, near the bathroom upstairs, near that smaller bathroom that they have in that hallway near my parents' bedroom in real life. And I was, in there in the scenario, virtual reality wise. So I was standing there near the bathroom upstairs, and it seemed like we were arguing a bit about why a strange guy was in the house. But I think it was her friend. He was standing, this is funny, he was standing in the shower, but not taking a shower. He had clothes on. Like as if they were both gabbing and talking in the bathroom, doing nothing. And for some reason, like I was jealous or something. And my mom sat on the pot, and I asked her, how can you go to the bathroom with somebody else in the bathroom? I could possibly be forgetting a little bit about this fourth scene and the fourth scene and the first scene, like tiny details, but I know I'm not forgetting anything about the third and the second scene. But yeah, all these scenes were part of the same scenario, so it was kind of funny. But yeah, that was pretty cool. The fluorescent Frankenstein, and sometimes he is green. Damn, it's getting cold in here now. Okay, so I have many more experiences, but I don't know if I have enough space. Okay, maybe I can talk about one more real quick. Okay, those I could talk about. This other one, I didn't ever talk about it. I just wrote it down in that other video. When I was in the theater, I don't know, if I read really fast, I might be able to do this. I don't know. Well, no, I could do that in the other video. I could talk about the other two real quick, maybe, that I had a few days ago. Let's see, did I put the date on here? I was in the movie. No, okay, let me see if I put the date. Okay, no, this was like just a few days. This was on Saturday. Both of these, I had like 2 days apart, like Saturday and Sunday. Oh, wait, hold on. Why did I not put the date? Well, anyway, it was like about 5 days ago. The Peckers Beach one, barbecue thingy. Yeah, like I either had both of them on Saturday or one Saturday and one Sunday morning. OBE, shopping at Big Kmart. Okay, I don't know how much time I have left, so I'll just talk about this one real quick. Okay, I was placed at Peckers Beach, walking around the sandy, dirty area for a long time. It was December. This was all obe-vr-lucid dream. In the scenario, it was December, and of course in real life it's December. Tons of people were there. It was 70 degrees. And like I say, Joel was copying off this because, about a week ago or whatever, we had a 70-degree day or whatever in December. So it was all of that in the scenario. I was still shocked that so many people were there at Peckers Beach in December. All of this was very vivid. The water was beautiful. At one point, I looked at the water and I knew it would still be too cold to swim. There were hundreds of people there, like I said before. Joe knew I wanted to go there in real life and knew I wanted to go there when not many people were there. It was December in the scenario. In real life, there probably wouldn't have been any people down there at Pecker's Beach in December on a 70-degree day. But in the scenario, there were tons of people. It was actually 70 degrees yesterday in real life. You know, a few days ago, it was 70 degrees. There were tall wood bleachers that were on stilts, kind of like a huge pavilion, wood picnic table on stilts. The bleachers I was in could hold like 20 to 30 people. I was about as high as my ceilings in my house, about 13 to 15 feet high. Several men were barbecuing, and so was I. I had a miniature barbecue thingy that was silver. I had a huge piece of raw red meat that was supposed to be a hamburger, but it was like 8 inches by 8 inches and thin, like as if I had thinned it out with the pounding tool. For whatever reason, I set my barbecue thingy on the ledge of the wood balcony thingy, and it slid off down below where a lot of people were on the lower level. My barbecue thingy was like a big George Foreman grill. 2 men down below were staring at me sitting at the table. You know, when I went down there to go pick up my meat. 2 men down below were staring at me sitting at a table and said something under their breath pertaining to that I didn't know how to barbecue. I was like, yes I do. It slid off the grill. In real life, I don't really know how to barbecue, but that pissed me off. Then I went to get the piece of meat, and I put my barbecue. Then I went to get the piece of meat down below, and then I went back up the stairs, so to speak, on that high pavilion, and I put my barbecue on the wood panel floor, you know, right down on the floor of the high pavilion. And it still kept sliding off, and I never had any luck cooking that damn thing because it kept sliding off. The last part of the scenario, I started walking again along the river, which was to the left of me, and that is where all the people were in relation, you know, to the picnic pavilion that I was standing around on. Then I started to see more people drive up, and this last part was hilarious. This scenario went on for a long time. All these scenarios were really long. And, okay, hold on. People were in relation to people. Then I started to see more people drive up, and this last part was hilarious. 2 women and 1 man started walking up close to me and started staring at me, and I gave them a stare and honed in on their specific features, and it was the 3 actors from Hillbillys. Okay, hold on. Then I started to see more people drive up in the last part of the scenario. Hilarious. 2 women and 1 man started staring at me as they were walking, you know, upon closer to me. And I gave them a stare and honed in on their specific features. And it was 3 actors from Hillbillys. I don't know if it's called Hillbillys or Beverly Hillbillys, something like that. The woman was especially clear, and that was the one that I really honed in on as she walked closer to me. The younger one, not the older one, I started staring at the younger one. But I was shocked, and like I said to myself, am I supposed to be in the 1900s or something? Like when I saw the Beverly Hillbillys, the 2 women and the man. Okay, yeah, so anyway, there was an older woman and a younger woman, and I honed in on the younger woman. But I was shocked, and I asked myself, am I supposed to be in the 1900s or something? Anyway, that part was really weird. And like I say, I think I maybe was thinking about that show for whatever reason, not long prior to this experience. But anyway, it was kind of weird. But let's see. Oh, the other ones I can just put in another video, I guess, because I think the time's gonna run out. But I did have a bunch of others, but I'll have to make another video. Okay, thanks for listening.